Alright, this is Chad Sanders with Iron Fist USA. We're going to take a look at Jeff's swim stroke. Alright, we have a swim smooth video clip there. So you can see he was in the kind of the correct, or he was in the correct position that we need to be in. And then we take that comparison and we take a look at Jeff right here. Big difference between the last screen and this screen is that Jeff's, he has no support out front. So what we have to do is we've got to get into a position of support in order to get our backside raised up and be able to pull ourselves to the water. So let's take a look at where we need to be and where we are right now. This arm here, if this arm was entering the water here, this arm, as you can see, it's very straight. Alright, where we want to be is more in this position right here, okay, with that arm. Alright, if this arm was entering the water, if it's not in the water, if it's up here and it's getting ready to shoot, alright, then that arm, we would want that arm to be about 8-10 inches deep and still holding support. From my side, having this with this hand not being in the water, we probably should still be up here. Alright, we want to hold support as long as possible. We want to get that wrist down and we want to pull straight back. Right now, what you're doing is you're making contact with the water here and you're making a motion kind of like this with and entering the water here, and the majority of what you're doing is pulling down on the water, and that's the number one correction we probably need to make with your stroke. So when you enter, drive in hard with that arm, drive in hard and pull on straight back. Alright, we can see he's finally entered in the water here. He's driving into the water. The big issue here is this hand is turned outward. We want a flat, straight hand, and we want it driving straight forward. With the way he's entering the water, he's actually instead of driving forward, he's swaying. He's creating a lot of movement in the wrong direction. We want to make that movement straight forward, drive it straight forward. This arm is, at this point, should be more of a position like this with a high elbow. We want a high elbow, elbow up here, wrist down here, and really catching that water. This arm should be flat and straight and really shooting straight out here. His body line is pretty flat at this point. We see that here's the water line here, and here's his body line at this point. Right here. So we have, here's the water line, there's the body line. It's actually not too bad. At this point, he's sitting pretty high, and he doesn't have a lot of bend. We're going to take a closer look at that now, but there is this arm here that is dropped pretty good. Okay, so we got this. He has a great support arm here. He's up here. He's ready to drive forward in the water. As soon as he begins to drive, then he's going to start his pullback. All right, he's at full extension here. All right, he's keeping this lead arm out front. All right, until he's going to get this arm all the way forward up here and ready to fire before he shoots. we can see from that last video, he was right out here in front of his shoulder. And this particular swimmer, he's actually moving outward with his hand just a little bit. So this hand is just sliding out just a little bit. And once it gets here, he's going to have elbow bend, and he's just moving it out just to make himself have some room to go right through here. Okay? So he slides out. He is not pulling down yet. That's just a really quick movement, sliding out, and he's going to pull straight back with his first bend of his elbow. This elbow is not going to move this direction until this hand has come in to here, rotated in right there. He's got a very flat hand. It's going to come on around here and be ready for entry. All right, there it is. You can see this hand here has moved on out. The elbow is still out front of the body, and he is starting his bend now. So he slid out. He's starting his bend. This elbow is going to come in this direction right here with that elbow. That elbow, so it's going to look like this right here, but that elbow never moved. All right, that elbow never moved, so he'll stay like that. That elbow drived out forward, where he slid out here a little bit. Elbow stays here. It's going to move here. Eventually, the arm is going to look like this here. All right, and this arm is going to straight. This hand's going to straighten out. He's going to really push straight forward, right there. Take a look at what you have. Again, we just don't have any support. We need that arm out front. We need our fingers together and wrist down. And from this point, that left arm, it's just not there. All right, just not there. We want to stay long. These eyes here are a little bit forward. You have a pretty decent here. We could move these eyes. The more down that we're looking in the water, the more that we're going to have. This is going to be to the top of the water. All right. We want to keep those feet up, not from dropping. Okay, we can really see that dropped elbow right here. This is a big deal. And where do we want it? We want it more here, and that's gonna get those lats working right here. You're using a lot of tricep. Okay, and you can see how you're slicing sideways into the water instead of driving straight forward. Got to get this elbow, get everything straight and lined up. If we have support here, then it's going to be much easier to drive here. Everything's going to be together. But we need this and we need this together. Once you get out here, it's wrist down and pull straight back, keeping this position with this shoulder then. So what we want to do with this arm, if this arm is getting ready to fire, it needs to be up, and this arm needs to be out here extended, just like that previous screen. All right, this guy right here, you can see how straight his line is. Okay, his knees are locked together. He's out here long. All right, his arm is going to come in. This arm's going to sweep in. Just like this, okay, and it's going to get into firing position, and then he's gonna shoot in that direction, okay, and everything is lined up. You can see it's lined up, and the reason for that is this very straight line is he keeps those knees locked together, and he's fluttering from the hips. He does not bend those knees. All right, here you are. We can really see from the top how crooked and out of line we are. All right, so we've got very, we are in no way lined up. We are crooked. All right, and that's not what we want to do. We've got a lot of flexion at the hip right here. We got to get these legs locked together. We're going to drag our legs. All right, these legs are not helping you at all. We've got to get them together, get everything straight as a line. That means we're not going to kick. You need to practice not kicking for a while until you figure out how to get those, how to just move your hips. All right, just kick from the hips. Make sure we get our head down. Get this. This arm is entering the water way out here, but look where this head is. It's pointing way out here. So I mean, you are very, very crooked. This head should be down. If this has been firing position, it's getting ready to drive out. You should have already made much progress in this direction right here, and we're not doing it. Okay, so this is where you can already see that he is getting that hand down. All right, down in the water. He's flexing it down. He got extended. His hands down. Again, he's going to come in this direction here. All right, and then he's gonna light it straight up. Everything's in a straight line. But we want to start our catch out here, not up under us. Very important for support. All right, we have no support. Our legs are sinking here. Just the same problem we were having. We have no support out front. Okay, so you can see that he always has an arm out front. He has much support. You can see that arm I was talking about earlier right here. And this is a catch arm. He has a lot of pull here. His arm's not down here under him. He's still catching that water, still pulling, even as he's driving forward with this hand. Okay, so he is really punching it forward with the water, just like this. So it's going to come in, and he's going to get some depth. Everything's lined up. He's just dragging his legs along, but he has great support. All right, he's not pulling with his shoulder. He's got a little bit. He kept that elbow where it was. He made his flexion with his elbow in, and he's driving forward. And as he turns and rotates this way, then he's going to pull with his lats right here. But he's not moving that tricep. He's not using that shoulder up there. All right, there he is. Nice, long, straight. Simply moving back just a little bit. All right, nice, long, straight arm here. He's 8 to 10 inches deep from the water. Easily 8 to 10 inches deep, maybe more. He's really set up to fire. He brought that arm from out here in his recovery, and he is straight lined up now, ready to fire straight forward. Gotta get into that position. All right. We can see that your hand is pointed out right here, and we want that hand down here, and we want to get it into firing position. All right, because what you're doing, you're just kind of pushing out and kind of hitting flat on the water. We got to get it into firing position and drive it forward. this arm, you can see how dropped elbow that is. We don't want that. We want it more, we want it like this, still grabbing that water. We want everything lined up straight. Alright, so we need to fix that little issue. Right elbow is definitely dropping, pulling down on the water. Alright, we want to pull straight back. Alright, here you go, your entry, you're coming in kind of sideways there. Back it up just a little bit. Sideways, whereas you need to stay tall and really fire straight forward here. Alright, get that elbow, keep your support. Alright, here's his position. Again, nice and long. He's ready to fire. This is that primary position you need to get into. And if you're practicing, you might practice, rotating from one side to the other and pausing at the top of your stroke right here. You can put your fins on and kick and rotate from one side to the other and practice getting up here into this position. Alright, you do not want to be sideways at all. You want to make sure you're forward, moving forward. Keep it high, stroke straight out in front. Practice getting into that position. There he is. You see that hand? How straight that hand is in the water. And that's the key here. That hand is straight lined up. Straight. He's ready to fire straight forward. And look at this arm right here. That arm, that elbow is still right there, and he has rotated that elbow backhand. He swept out. He rotated that elbow in, and he started his catch. And he's going to be pulling. Once he gets this arm in, and his body rotates to his other side here, straight forward, he's going to be using his lats to pull it the rest of the way. And he will pull it once he slides in. It's going to pull just straight back. All right. It's a lot simpler than it seems. Head's down in the water. Looks real good. All right. You opposite of him, you just don't have any support out front. Because you don't have any support out front, it's very, very possible that you feel like you need a kick to keep your feet up, and you just don't need to. Alright, there he is. You can see that elbow is bent. It's still out front of him. Alright, he slid out a little bit, still out front of him. He bent that elbow down. It's not coming from his shoulder. He actually bent it in. Alright, he's driving that hand nice and smooth and clean into the water. There you go. Just no support. Here's that arm. Where does it need to be? It needs to be here. And your arm, if you're at this position, your hand should be entering and driving deep into this water right here. Alright, he's fully extended. This is his position. I keep going back to the same slides because it's swimming is a repetition from one motion right to the next. Very long right here. Alright, so he's got that bend in the wrist. Everything looks good. Alright, there he is. And we want to view the height of this elbow right here. This is what I'm keying on right here. It's just below the surface. He keeps it high. He's not sinking down, straight arming it. He keeps both elbows high on the pull. It's out, bends it, keeps that elbow high. All right, that means it's just beneath the surface of the water. All right, there you go. That's the big difference there. Whereas his is up here at the surface of the water, your elbow is way down here. Alright, you got that really flat. His elbow is up here where your shoulder is, and your elbow is way deep, and you pull down really deep on the water. Took a lot of pressure, a lot of hand pressure, wasting a lot of energy pushing down on the water this way. Whereas if we're driving out, that water that's propelling is actually going to push that hand this way. So let's say this is your hand. Alright, that water is going to push that hand. And that's how those 10, 11, 12, 13-year-olds are out swimming you, out swimming me sometimes. Alright, it's because it doesn't take a lot of effort to pull straight back when the water is moving that fast. And if you're moving that fast. Alright, no bend, no support. Here we go. You are, at this point, you're just starting to bend your elbow, and you're way underneath your body. Way underneath your body. There it is right there. And you can see how much of a drop to elbow that is, and you're using those triceps rather than these lats here. Hands coming crooked, just not firing straight in the water. Gotta fire straight in the water. Alright, and here he is swimming in slow motion. Just watch his hands straight forward in the water. Everything is directly forward. Gets that hand back into position, and he fires it forward in the water. Pop. Looks like he's going real easy right here, but I do have it in very slow motion. Very slow motion, very smooth. Keeps that head down in the water, turns it just a hair to breathe, and that's all we have. All right. Hopefully in a few weeks we can get back together and I'll video you again, see how much improvement you've made, and hopefully I hope this video helps you, Jeff. Appreciate it.